a look.
Whoa.
Welcome to the Easter Factory. This is where we make all the candy and eggs that I deliver to the children of the world.
This is so cool.
Someday, this will all be yours.
Go ahead. If you want to do it.
You put the poison in me, Hop! You put the poison in me!
Welcome back to Watchin Stuff. I'm Y-Boy, and this crazy man is Nero.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
Illumination Studios is this really cool company, alright? At the point of this fucking... recording. I couldn't even fuck the words! The thing about Illumination that's like really neato torpedo is that they make really cool movies. They just did Secret Life of Pets. They have Sing coming out later this year.
Yep.
They did that Fuck Awful Minions movie. Here's the vlog for that. Go watch it. They did Despicable Me 1 and 2, which is phenomenal beyond reason. They did that Danny DeVito documentary where he was like a furry little orange guy.
Yeah. The Lorax.
Just call it what it is. It's a fucking Danny DeVito documentary. God damn it. God damn it. He didn't even play a character. So, Illumination's a really cool studio that's earned some serious kudos. It's really started to earn its title in that it's starting to build its legacy as making some pretty good quality films. And for animation, they do make visually very beautiful films, and oftentimes, that Danny DeVito documentary notwithstanding, make, you know, good narrative films. Like Despicable Me 1 came out. I fucking loved it.
I
did a review about it. It's also here. It will also be in the description below. But then after that, they decided, oh, we still gotta find our feet, and as you know,
So narrative-wise, it goes really from good to decent to decent and to bad again. And with Hop, where does this fall for you, Nero?
If you look at the grain scale, the worst being that Danny DeVito documentary that I recently mentioned earlier, where he's a big furry pink for orange peanut.
Yeah.
And the greatest on that scale being
Minions.
You fucking whore! You fucking whore! How dare you! How dare you say
Calm
Minions!
the fuck down!
Minions is terrible! No! Despicable Me. That would be the best one. Alright? I would say it's like middle ground.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. They cut their teeth on Despicable Me, and it's this awesome, fully CGI film, like Pixar, DreamWorks, blah, 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 blah. They gotta make the next film for their company, and they're like,
We gotta make some money.
can't we mix live action CG? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You fucking can't. You can't! And it's not because it's impossible, it's because you suck at it!
Yeah, and this is what made Hop. Basically, the Easter's Santa Claus.
Yeah, you ever see that movie, The Santa Claus? A really shitty movie with like Tim Allen? It's that, but actually, you know what? Shit, it's like a better version of that, and I know it's really fucked up because Santa Claus isn't really that good. But why this works is like Santa Claus, you're pretty much fucking shanghaied and having to become Santa.
Yeah.
Because Tim Allen fucking kills Santa, steals his clothes, and then from then on he's got like the Claus curse, where he's forcibly enslaved into carrying the mantle of the Claus. At least in this one, the human character's like, man, I'm in a shitty place in my life. I don't work. My parents think I'm a loser. You know what I want to do though? When I was a kid, I saw the Easter Bunny. Now, by all logic, his ass should have been checked into an insane asylum right then and there.
Yeah.
But then as an adult, he's like, I want to be the Easter Bunny.
Maybe tone it down a little bit, because this movie isn't all that exciting to get so worked up on.
It actually, the thing is, it's honestly not that bad. I mean,
It's really not. So let me just tell the story of Hop.
it's okay.
Yeah, we have Russell Brand as our main bunny, EP, for the clever name of Easter Bunny. If for those of you who didn't get it,
His fucking dad named him after his job.
yeah, so we can already tell that his dad's not the best.
Wouldn't that be
dad.
like if my father named me like FA for like failed artist because that's my job?
Yeah, I guess that would be it. But then E.B. decides he doesn't really want to be the Easter Bunny. He wants to be a drummer. Drummer in Hollywood. And so E.B. one day just basically escapes from Easter Island because, haha, and basically makes it to Hollywood, where he meets our human character, Fred O'Hare. So many clever, like, bunny rabbit puns. You're not very happy, are you? Oh my god. Oh my god, no. Don't hit me again. Oh.
The thing is this. It's not the matter that the movie's generic, which it is. The movie's not poorly acted.
No. Everything's good. Russell Brand as Evie is very good.
He's funny. He's kind of likable. It's this typical story you've heard for like the longest time. He's a dick in the first 2 acts, then he gets his shit together in the 3rd act.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think, honestly, what makes this fall apart is coming from the company that did Despicable Me, because this was the second movie they did.
Yeah.
Coming from the company that did Despicable Me, and Despicable Me is a visual marvel in my opinion. I really think it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
Visually, this is shit.
Yeah,
it's ugly.
Yeah, it really doesn't lend itself to like live action to animation split, because as it's trying to go like middle ground with the animation, it just sort of like sticks out even more.
Honestly, this reminds me of the live action Scooby-Doo in terms of the effects for the CG.
Yeah.
Because it's like, doesn't Scoob look like he's right there?
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, that sort of like gets away with it a little bit more because it's a like early 2000s sort of thing. Like this was, I don't even know which year.
I want to say 2011, because I think Despicable Me 1 was 2010,
yeah,
and then this came out.
Yeah. Something around that time.
Yeah.
And just by that, then, like, this should have been, like, a more top grade and all that. And it just doesn't. Like, the fully animated sections are the best looking at the movie.
Well, it's because everything, like, works. Everything blends in.
Everything fits in. But when you put, like, Fred O'Hare in there and all that sort of stuff, like, everything just doesn't work. It's basically like putting a sticker on top of a picture of a mountain. Yeah, just basically a stupid like pony sticker on a very realistic mountain.
Yeah.
It's basically that sort of like difference in sort of style.
The thing that gets me about this movie is it's so average, and I'll call it right now 3 out of 5. It's fucking middle of the road average. And why that doesn't work for me is that when you're so fucking mundane, why even be around?
Yeah.
I think what they could have done simply to make this a good property, this just should have been a reboot of the Rankin Bass Here Comes Peter Cottontail. They sing that fucking, they were going to do the fucking play in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I think if this had been a fully animated Illumination project of Here Comes Peter Cottontail, it could have been great. You could have had an awesome looking Peter. He could have still been played by Russell Brand. That wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah.
You could have had his dad being the head Easter Bunny. That's fine because Peter met, he was like friends with the guy who was the current Easter Bunny in the original Rankin Bass one. I do argue it would be difficult to get someone to replace someone like Vincent Price as January Q Irontail.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been impossible because you had Hank Azaria being the bad guy for this one, and Hank Azaria is a very talented voice actor.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that he probably could have done Vincent Price, and even then, you could have had Maurice LaMarche. Because Maurice LaMarche is the voice of Vincent Van Gogh in all the Scooby-Doo materials.
Yeah.
And Vincent Van Gogh is based on
Vincent Price.
So that could have worked.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is that this is too average.
Yeah.
For, like, it's funny because Despicable Me came out the same year as Megamind, which is interesting because they're both movies with supervillains. But it's interesting in that Despicable Me felt like there was more of a task taken into account for a challenge
Yeah.
to do something different.
And Megamind was just more just going with the flow of things.
Yeah, Megamind was very... Because the thing is, Megamind compared to Gru is that Gru was a bit more vindictive to people.
Yeah.
Like, he sees, like, little kid drops ice cream, little kid looks sad, he makes balloon animal, gives it to the kid, kid's, like, really happy, pops fucking balloon, shoves the kid away, walks away, and he has a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Megamind's just like, he's just kind of a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That's it. And the thing about this is, like, for the guys who did Despicable Me, which felt like they were trying to really sort of, like, cement themselves, this doesn't feel like this should have been, like, their second movie in.
Yeah.
This should have been like, hey, look, we've done, like, 10 or some odd movies.
Yeah.
Let's just squeeze something out. And
Yeah.
that's what it felt
Yeah.
like. It felt like it's just like, let's squeeze something out.
Yeah, for me, I do like your Peter Cottontail sort of idea and all that, but let's just more like think of this as the exercise of we have what we got. What would have made this story that we have right now better? And I feel like we could have had an Easter Santa Claus. Like it has all the makings of that here.
Yeah, it does.
Like
It's
that-
also very much like the Peter Cottontail movie too, and just
Yeah.
how it's set up.
Yeah. Like we have like the human character Fred O'Hare, and I think he's a very likable sort of character. Like
He wasn't a dick.
Yeah, he's trying to like do all his work and all that sort of stuff. Like basically his whole like arc throughout the movie is that he's
He's a schlub.
Yeah, he's a schlub who's been out of work for like a year and all that. And his parents are
And
just
could
basically-
afford a car somehow.
Yeah. And, moving past that, he's just trying to find a job and all that. He's just sort of a schlub and just trying to find the job that best suits him and all that. And he's being sort of picky about it.
That's okay. That's understandable.
Yeah.
You know, that's relatable. So a lot of
Yeah.
us have like, you know, we leave high school or college, and it's like, I want to do what I've always wanted to do, which is this,
Yeah.
but I can't get it, and you just sort of slip into like,
Yeah, that sort of
The
thing.
mundane,
So that
like,
makes
area.
Fred very relatable and all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
That's
and
the
then
part.
and then when we get to the point of the movie where he says like I want to be the human Easter Bunny and all that, like unlike in like Tim Allen Santa Claus, we see Fred like go throughout these like this training montage and all that, and just
Yeah.
show like he really really wants to do it.
that's what I actually think this is superior to Santa Claus, because like Santa Claus, he's basically coerced into, yeah, tough shit, asshole. You put on the coat. You have to be fucking Santa. And instead of him choosing that role, he basically needs to, over time, be just fucking beaten and battered
Yeah.
down so much where it's like, I'll be Santa Claus.
Yeah.
In this one, it's great because you have a guy who grew up as a kid and, you know, he saw the Easter Bunny, so he obviously always believed that this was real, that this magic. That's why it's not so ridiculous that he meets someone like EB and he's like, oh my fucking god, like a real person.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just more like, oh shit, because I fucking saw the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Which is the only part that sucks about that is that's too coincidental. That
Yeah.
like, so you saw the Easter Bunny and you happened to meet his son.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's holy shit.
Yeah, no, that's a great coincidence.
That's one hell of a coincidence,
Yeah,
considering how many people exist on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the fact that Fred's mentality is he goes up to EB and he's like, you don't want to be the Easter Bunny. Your dad needs somebody to
Be the
Easter Bunny and replace to carry the lineage going.
I can be the Easter
I can
Bunny.
be the Easter Bunny. I like the enthusiasm. I like the fact that you see him like decorating eggs and he gets really good at it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they go through a training montage where EB's like, you gotta move faster.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta get through every place in like in one night. You gotta deliver it all over the place.
Yeah.
I think that was good.
Yeah, that's a very strong portion of it. I think this did have the makings of it.
Oh, yeah.
There's too many weak areas of it.
Everywhere else though is just kind of, for lack of a better word, like it's kind of shit in
Yeah.
those other areas because it's like
Yeah.
Carlos as the villain is bland.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like he's kind of funny.
Yeah. Like, it could sort of work as he's just trying to be, like his motivation is a lot different than most other villains. He just wants to, like, do Easter.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he wants to make Easter great, but then I guess the writers forgot what they were writing because then in the third act, out of nowhere, he decides he's gonna give bugs and worms and birdseed to kids on Easter, even though the rest of the movie never indicated that.
Yeah, he's been working with Easter for so many years. So why would he switch to that now?
And that's the thing where it falls apart because earlier it's like EB goes missing, like he runs away from home, and Carlos is pushing EB's dad, and he's like, I'm gonna help you. You know, we're gonna make Easter great.
Let me
you know,
put on
it's-
my Easter ears.
Yeah, like
Easter bunny ears.
Yeah, like he's hopping
yeah,
and stuff, and it's like, you know, why can't a chick, so you know, help with
Yeah.
Easter? And they're like, hey, a chick, fuck you, racism, very casually done,
Yeah.
and never really touched on, by the way, like afterwards.
It's just really sort of out of place in this sort of.
I thought the movie was gonna go that like, the bunnies kind of.
Mistreated the chicks.
Like the chicks do all the work, but the bunnies get all the glory. This is gonna be ironic.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe coincidental, maybe ironic. I'm not sure if I'm using the word right. In the Santa Claus 3,
Yeah.
the whole plot actually circles around Jack Frost is fucking pissed that he does all this winter shit. He busts his ass making each like snowflake a unique and individual one, and fucking Santa Claus gets all the credit for everything.
Yeah, I think that's coincidental. Yeah.
Like, but it's funny because it's like shit. This should have even been even more like the Santa Claus.
Yeah, like this was fitting into the Santa Claus sort of style so easily. You could have slid right in there. But yeah, with the whole dad sort of situation, even Fred O'Hare's dad, it's just sort of like manufactured in a way.
Can I just say, Fred O'Hare's dad's a cunt. He's a douchebag of the highest caliber.
He really is. Like, nothing will please him.
Like, I understand the dad's upset because like Fred hasn't fully done something with his life. That part I get. But like, Fred does this big performance. They're at a school for their adopted daughter, which is only the really weirdest thing about the whole movie.
Yeah, because they already have 2 kids, fully grown and all that, and they just bring in the 3rd one.
Yeah, they just... I don't know, like, it just seems weird to me, because it's like, you have 2 fully adult kids, and then... we adopted one?
Yeah, we could have gotten a puppy, but yeah.
Like, it almost feels just kind of random, because, like, they felt like they needed to have a scene where it had to take place at this school.
Yeah.
And you needed a kid character to do that?
Why not just have a 3rd younger kid?
Oh, why go the adoption angle?
Yeah. Why?
I don't have a fucking clue. It just felt like it's not like I'm against adoption or anything. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's just weird out of nowhere. Probably just to do like some sort of multicultural sort of thing.
Yeah, that's what. Remember, because the movie establishes earlier, like they said, China doesn't celebrate Easter. Which, if anyone knows that, mention that below in the comments, because I don't know if that's true or if that's bullshit.
Yeah, that.
But like they mentioned just off the cuff, like China doesn't celebrate Easter, and then they just happen to have a Chinese daughter.
Yeah.
And it's just like, is there a correlation you guys are trying to be as filmmakers, or nothing?
Yeah, that's just
okay.
Weird.
So like,
moving back to the actual performance, we have Fred O'Hare with E.B. in his arms. He tries to do like a
ventriloquist act. Yeah,
and they do the song.
I Like Candy because
I Like Candy because
you need a hip pop culture song for the soundtrack. That's important. And that's why they did that.
Yeah.
So they do that. Everybody likes their performance.
Yeah, they're all clapping and laughing.
Fred realizes like it feels good to make people happy. It feels good to make children happy.
That was actually the best part of that scene.
That's great. And then his dad's like, "Wow, you're a fucking disappointment."
Yeah, you're just. Are you happy just upstaging like grade schoolers?
How about that part, Dad, where I got like a standing ovation because everybody like really liked what I did?
Yeah, even all the kids were laughing and clapping.
I mean, like, holy shit! And he even says, he's like, "There's that look," and his dad, what look? That look you always give me, where you just look at me like I'm nothing but a disappointment. And you're like, wow, this could be really good if we kind of push this out a little bit more and flesh it out.
Actually developed and all that, and the dad was actually a human sort of character
instead of a piece of shit,
rather than just like the robotic version of "I'm disappointed." Disappointed.
Divorce imminent.
Yeah.
God, they should toss that in there. By the way, your mother and I are getting divorced. Ah, Easter.
Oh, jeez.
That's the thing, though. As a whole, this movie's just so
average. Yeah.
That
yeah,
it didn't need to happen.
Yeah, but I feel for me it's better than most other like average basic movies because you can actually see here like where it's like really smart and all that.
I expected this to be way fucking worse.
Oh,
I'm telling you, man, when a trailer shows you a bunny taking a shit on the hood of a car and it shits jelly beans, what the fuck are you supposed to think?
Yeah, you don't really set your expectations that high when you see that.
No, they're right down next to fucking dinosaur bones.
Yeah, exactly. But apart from crap and jelly beans, where they did the second joke of that, and it was just equally as not funny, it was actually pretty decent. Pretty average.
I honestly, maybe if they went full-on animation with this,
yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be Peter Cottontail, I get it.
Yeah.
If this had just been fully animated, I think it could have worked.
Yeah, I think it would have worked a lot better because probably a lot of it is just like we're thrown out of it because it's just live action people holding pockets of air.
I think part of that too is, and this is kind of corresponding with Secret Life of Pets, is that you can animate the characters doing more to fit alongside the other highly animated characters.
Yeah.
Whereas in the context of this film, EB can do anything because the animators can have him do anything. But the humans and all the live action stuff is limited by the fact that that's reality.
Yeah.
And that's why it doesn't hold water.
Yeah. Because it just sort of like the dichotomy of like the cartoon world just trying to get in and the real world just can't let it in.
Yeah, it's the same thing like when they do all those fucking Looney Tune live action shit.
Yeah.
Like Back in Action or like Space Jam, where it's like, because it's not all animated, there's just this breakaway, because it's like, look at everything all the other characters can do, and then it's like there's this one thing that can't.
Yeah, like the only time like that really sort of worked for me was with like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and all that, and that because they did like do it a lot more. Like they had the detective character like get all animated a little bit and all that.
Yeah, they incorporated it better there though.
Yeah, they needed to like make the characters a lot more animated rather than just like, oh, there's a rabbit here that talks.
Well, even then, like, only fucking Fred was like that.
Yeah.
Like, no one else seemed like the least bit. Shit! And then the movie happens, and Fred reveals he's like the Easter Bunny, and they're like, yeah, my son finally got a job. Be fucking impressed! I mean, holy shit, he's a holiday icon!
Like, I'm proud of you, son, now.
I mean, like, dude, if I became like the physical embodiment of Halloween, don't you think you'd be a little bit more impressed? Like, oh! Nero, like, gives candy to kids.
Good for you. I knew he would do something, honey. Trying to open the paper.
So, honestly, as a whole, it's disappointing because this is their second movie. And it's not like this set the precedent that ruined every movie that comes after. That's bullshit. Like,
if this did, then they have a very high bar for being like the lowest they would ever go. But we've already seen they've gone lower.
Yeah, that Danny DeVito documentary.
The Danny DeVito documentary and Minions and all that. But yeah, Hop was pretty decent.
It was average. I mean, like, honestly, if anything, direct-to-TV it should have been.
Yeah.
Direct-to-DVD.
Yeah.
This did not need a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Other than in a desperate ploy to try and make back the investment.
Yeah. So, my rating out of 10 would be 5 out of 10. It's just very average kind of thing.
And I said like 3 out of 5.
And I would put just asterisk next to it. It had the potential to be a lot more.
Like, this one is kind of reaching more for the potential, but honestly, I think if it wasn't live action and it was just fully animated,
I would have given
it would have had. Well, it's not even that I would have probably given it higher. I think it would have been able to
get a little bit
reach
higher.
more potential.
Yeah.
Because since you have like real life actors and shit, and everyone's limited by like, you know,
being human
and not being able to physically do shit that like requires for you to see in a cartoon, it doesn't hold water, and that's the part where I think like honestly them splitting this down the middle and trying both is what made this fail. Yeah, in my opinion. I think financially though it did fine.
Yeah, I think it did pretty well.
I think they only spent $63 million to make it.
Yeah, and they made their money back. It's probably one of the cheaper Illumination films they ever done, so it was easy to make their money back.
Which I wonder if that was part of it too. Like maybe they spent too much money making Despicable Me, and it's like it did good. We didn't make as much back, but we still want to make a movie to keep the brand. So
yeah, they probably just did it for that sort of reasons.
Yeah,
and they could have done better. And for what they did to make a sort of movie to like generate revenue, like this was pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, it made its money back. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great. What you expect from Illumination.
Mm-hmm.
So for your guys' second outing though, you know, you guys didn't do too bad. Yeah. You did do the fucking Lorax after this, though, so that I guess you got your shit out.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get all of that, push it all out, like constipation.
God, I really hope their fucking take on the Grinch is good.
Yeah, we all hope that.
I really want that to be good. It's so fucking bad, but I'm so fucking horrified now.
Because hopefully they bring back Mike Myers to play that.
Well, he was the cat.
Yeah.
He wasn't the Grinch. Jim Carrey was the Grinch.
Oh, right. Well, they should make Mike Myers play the
and they fixed that, though, because they hired Benedict Cumberbatch to be the Grinch now, and he's awesome.
Oh, that is true as well.
like he doesn't make you, like, question your place in the world like Jim Carrey does.
or maybe Mike Myers should just play all the roles. That just makes us sad.
So, you know, if you guys have anything to say about Hop, like, dislike, meh, because that's where we're at, meh, feel free to comment below, subscribe, like the video. Thanks for stopping by. Everything's in the subscription. You can follow us on social media and all that jazz. Plug. Hop.
It's hippin', hoppin', bland. Yeah, I'm proud of that.
That was about as white as the fucking movie.
Yep.